Wow. Check out that view. Never gets old. So who is ready to do more maintenance on your 4Runner? And you get to save some money because you will be doing the labor yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. This is the Vikings garage, and on today's episode, we will be replacing the rear shock absorbers on your 4Runner. When it comes to this job, it is fairly simple, guys. All you really need is a 17 mil wrench. I would recommend a boxed end one to crack it loose, and then an open end one because of the amount of space that you have in this area here. But it's really not a big deal. It can totally be done, honestly, without taking this wheel off. And I will show you guys in a second how you can get that accomplished at home as well. Now, as far as the shock itself that I went for, trying to keep it simple, trying to keep it very basic here. These are the B8s 5100s. We're basically matching what was already in the front because, let's face it, I need to start getting some sleep at night, guys. This was keeping me up at night. I could no longer stand it, and I really mean that. This was really bothering me. So without any further ado, let's correct this once and for all. So taking a closer look, you guys can already see the area in which we're going to be working with. And what you want to do initially is insert your boxed end long, if possible, because that will make your life easier. 17 millimeter wrench on your top nut for your rear shock. And now it's a matter of working it with this one, like so, or you grab your open hand, and that will make your life a lot easier because that way you'll be able to work it side to side, like so. Guys, I cannot begin to tell how cold it is out there. But although my truck only has, I believe, 46,000 miles now, this is usually never ever an issue. If you guys run into an issue, word to the wise, spread some penetrant oil on the top there, let it do its thing, and it should crack right loose. So this is how you do that. You grab your wrench for your oil filters, you insert it into the top of the shock absorber, clamp it down, and then with your top one, if you pay close attention on the top, you'll see that this will break loose because the two are no longer going to be spinning together. As you can see, I was able to free it up. And what you do is you work your way, because now, see, now it's loose completely, and the housing is no longer spinning with it. Another quick top tip here. Once you work this nut with your fingers, grab yourself a magnet. They have a tendency of wanting to go for a walk on top of your frame. And it's just a much easier way to go ahead and retrieve that nut. Once you do have that nut completely removed, then what you want to do is you're going to want to increase this gap a bit. How do you do that? Very simple. Grab yourself a floor jack, a little piece of wood, and you want to jack it up right where the differential is, and that will give you the room you need. And once you have done exactly that, as always, guys, safety first. Let's put a floor jack right there on your differential. That way you know you're safe. And now we're gonna go ahead and remove the lower bolt for your rear shock absorber. As I sit here in my son's yellow Corvette, guys, next step for the lower portion of things, that's the area in which we're working with. Oftentimes, some of us technicians just assume that everybody knows everything. You don't want to go on that side, you're going on this one. So I'll meet you guys there in a second. This is the bolt in question. It is a 17 millimeter. So let's go ahead and take it off. Once you remove the bolt and the washer, place it to the side. You will be reusing it. Now this is very simple. I'll meet you guys up top and I'll show you how to get this out. With the flathead, you want to squeeze it in between the shock absorber and the frame itself, not so much the body and the shock absorber, because you don't want to damage the body, right? So you place it in between the two and you're going to pry it up and watch as the top of that shock absorber is going to go down. Pay close attention. See that? That's basically what you want to do. This bushing is going to try to walk on you. No big deal. So what you do is with one hand, you push the shock down. Should be fairly easy to do so. And then you grab the bushing with the other. Check it out. There you have it. Bushing is out. Shock absorber is now loose. You can do the same exact thing to remove it completely. So just push it all the way down and it should come right off. Check it out. If you pay close attention, I will be pushing the very top of this shock absorber down until it clears the frame. Once it does clear the frame, as you can see it going down all the way, all you got to do is grab it from the bottom and push it outwards. That's it. There you have it. One shock absorber removed. This is also a good time to test and see if your shocks are good or not. I'll show you right now. These angles, I tell you. So, as far as shock absorbers, how can you tell if it has gone wrong? Oftentimes, you can see, based on a leak that you see in this area here, that's because it's spewing all of its oil out. The seal has failed. But here's another way. You compress it. Again, I do work out, but you really don't have to be very muscular to do this. It is a little hard, but not too bad. Once it has bottomed out, let it go, and this shock absorber should come up on its own. As you can see, this one is going fairly slowly. That doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, because it really isn't. These are actually very good shock absorbers, by the way, guys. Now, a quick comparison here so that you can see what the old one versus the new one looks like. As far as height, guys, I don't really see much of a difference, and I don't believe there is going to be much of a difference. But if we were to completely compare them, it looks to me like there might be a slight height difference on that one. But again, it is minimal. It is not supposed to raise your vehicle whatsoever, but it does give her a stiffer feel in the rear. So let's go ahead and install this one. Fairly simple. Again, take your nut off and you're going to leave the very top bushing portion, which is these two guys, out of it, and you're going to slide this into the frame. Very quick side note here, guys. When we go to reinstall the rear shock absorber, keep in mind you have to slide it in between your parking cable and your rear solid axle. So one way of doing it, you want to line it up on the top portion. Use that as your pivot point, and what you do is you push this upwards, and once you got enough clearance, then you push it in to the spot where it belongs. Before installing the top nut, I'm a firm believer that a little bit of this Locktite goes a long way, not to mention it is peace of mind. So the very first step is that I slide it, like I said, in between the parking cable and the rear solid axle, up into here, place your bushing, place your washer with the curvature facing up, and you're gonna have very limited amount of threads to put that nut. That is a-okay. That is the way it's supposed to be. Once the weight of the vehicle is applied into all this, then you'll have more room to tighten that nut up. Now I'm going to meet you guys down there so that we can compress the shock upwards and slide it into place. Honestly, guys, this is one of those deals. I'm going to do my very best to get this on camera, but keep one thing in mind. It is not easy, especially the position in which we're working with, to push this up. So it is going to require a little bit of effort. Don't let it discourage you. Just be prepared to slide it into place when the time comes. And of course, have your bolt and washer ready. Let's give it a go. The reason why we do the top like that is that way it stays in place. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and do this as beautifully and gracefully as we can, right? There you go. This boot sometimes takes a little bit of beating. You got to go ahead, massage it back into place. Bolt goes back up. Now, I know, you guys as always want torque specs, and I am prepared to torque this on camera for you guys. The bottom bolt, it depends where you look, but I can tell you guys what the torque spec is as per Toyota. And this bottom one is 72 foot-pounds of torque. Top one is going to be 18. What? Did I get that on camera? Yep, I just cracked that socket. Let's try this again. Now, once the vehicle is fully on the ground and putting the load completely onto this shock absorber, gives you a little more room for the nut. You can work that in with your fingers clearly. And then in this particular case, 18 is the magic number. Feel free to use the same stock 17 as before, but why not? They give you a new nut. Let's go ahead and just use it. You're going to want to work it in as much as humanly possible, keeping an eye on the bottom portion of your shock to make sure that it is not spinning with the nut. And once it does start spinning, I'll let you know what you can do. And just as previously stated, if you pay close attention to the bottom portion of the shock, you'll notice that it is indeed rotating with the nut. Well, not to worry, guys, because if you actually look closer, you will see that right there, you will have a spot to place a wrench. When everything is said and done, more or less, that is how much of the top of your shock absorber is going to show once this nut is fully torqued to 18 foot-pounds of torque. And yes, I want to leave a couple of side notes for the keyboard warriors. So here's the socket. Hopefully there's the crack. And this guy actually cracked in 2 different spots. Now, yes, you should be using impact sockets, but your boy right here, of course, as always, forgot his impact sockets at work. So I am aware, guys, you should be using impact sockets, not the chrome stuff, especially when you're talking about 72 foot-pounds of torque. Look at that, I still remember. Another side note, did not show it on camera for obvious reasons, but if you do choose to torque the upper nut, crow's foot wrench, which I'll leave right there in the corner, is going to be the tool that's going to help you with that. I hope, again, this information was helpful, and get those parts ordered. You got this. As you guys can see, this is pretty straightforward, very easy to follow. You should accomplish this in an hour if you choose to do so, or you can be like me, take your sweet time, and I get to do the other side today. Either way, you can't go wrong, guys. I hope you found these instructions to be easy to follow. As always, if you found this content to be informative, don't forget to smash that like button. If you do not want to miss any more of my episodes, including the one in the board, which we're waiting for the parts, don't forget to subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the next one.